Hey, mess makers. Before we dive into today's episode, I just wanted to take a moment to personally invite you to join the Messy mailing list. This is where I will be dropping exclusive content, including tools, sneak peeks on what's coming up, and I want to hear from you guys. So if you have any questions or thoughts, this is your way to get interactive with me and with Inside Out. So make sure you head over to the show notes to sign up, and I'm super excited to get messy with you guys. All right, back to the episode. Welcome to the Inside Out podcast. I'm your host, Jojo, and this is where we will navigate the mess together. That is mental, emotional, and spiritual. Let's get messy. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Inside Out. This week, we have a little solo episode. I know you guys are really loving the guest episodes and the conversations that we're having, but I think it's also important that I jump on here and I connect with you guys personally. And I just wanted to say on that note, please connect with me. A lot of you reach out and say stuff to guests, and I am also here for that feedback. And I really want to know what you guys are interested in talking about. And a lot of you have let me know, and it's so funny that most of you want to talk about relationships. I don't know what that's about. You could be a man or a woman. It's both sides of this listenership. So that was actually very interesting to me because I figured, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought like career would be something that we'd want to discuss and avenues we'd want to go down. But Inside Out is more just about overall alignment and making sure that every aspect of our lives is in alignment. And I guess that's not just one thing or another. I think that's all encompassing. So we're just gonna do a little check-in. So what I really want us to stop and think about for a second is where we're at in our lives and are the choices that we're making feeling good. There's a lot of energy out in the universe that's happening right now, along with several planets being retrograde, but also just intense energies that are, I think collectively are very much being felt. And I think it's giving us an opportunity to recalibrate. I mean, that's what retrogrades do. And I don't want this to be like necessarily just about astrology, but I'm noticing that right now it's a time for evaluation, recalibrating, and just realigning. And for me personally, it's very uncomfortable to be in a liminal space and in that pause, if you will. But I've also been noticing how on the other side of that is awareness. I'm someone that used to be very impulsive. I would see something, I would go after it. I would think about something, I would do it. And there wasn't this breath or this space to really allow for reflection. And what I'm noticing, especially in the last several weeks, is how important it is to just take a beat. And I don't take a beat enough, whether that's in my interpersonal relationships, whether that's in my career, whether that's just sitting back and reflecting and watching and observing. I just don't do it enough. And I'm noticing that that's changing in me. And it's also changing in the people around me. I'm noticing just in conversations with people, we're not as reactive as we used to be. Now, I don't know if this is a collective dynamic or an energy. Maybe you guys have been noticing it as well, but there's a more in-depth and intuitive sort of pause. I don't know how else to explain it. And I think it's giving us the foundation and stability to really decide if this is the path that we want to go down, the relationship we want to enter, the career we want to be exploring, the city we want to be living in, or a potential move that we want to make, whether that's in any of those areas I just mentioned. And it's interesting because I'm noticing how my brain was wired, particularly one way, and how now allowing for that space, I'm noticing how much I'm not used to that. and then brings in a whole other narrative of, well, hold on, and this isn't going to move forward, and I can't manifest X, Y, and Z, and whatever story starts to come from our thoughts. Now, I'm also realizing our thoughts really do shape our reality, and I'm catching myself in those thoughts and being like, whoa, that's an interesting thought. But it's because I'm slowing down and because I'm pausing, I'm able to just see it. It's almost like my dad says this all the time. If I'm like going through something really stressful, he's like, zoom out 30,000 feet in the air. Look at the bigger picture here. But when you get away and you really just look at the whole entirety of what you're dealing with, then it's a lot easier to be like, all right, I see this, I see that, and I see the next thing. And it's easier to sort of see the steps. Now, I could fight the other side of that and be like, well, when you zoom out, there's this mountain of stuff you have to do and it's so overwhelming. Yes, I agree with that too. But I also think in that, that's why the pause and the slow pace and the intentional step by step is so important. And really just slowing down and really just taking everything day by day. Because I notice from 1 minute to another, my thoughts are so chaotic sometimes. And I'm sitting here like, oh, this person hates me. And then next second, I'm like, no, it's just like I'm having internal fights with myself. And I'm like, what on earth? This is chaotic brain behavior. But I'm catching the patterns. I'm catching what I'm doing. And I think mindfulness is really key here. Now, I've tried meditation. I've tried doing certain things. I have a morning routine. We've talked about this. But meditation and just putting aside 10 minutes to just like quiet my mind, I can't do that very well. I start thinking about the laundry list of things that I need to do. But in my day-to-day, being more intentional and being more present, like I'm noticing I'll be stretching, for instance, and I'll be like, wow, I can smell the wood of my floor. Even this morning when I was taking the Pilates class and there was a construction happening, I think it was the floor below us, but just even feeling like the floor vibrating. Like sometimes I'm doing the workout, but I'm not even like conscious of where I am in time and space. And just that consciousness and connectedness of all of it. I think it's all very much interconnected. And I think that's the point here, because I know for a fact, and history has shown this, that I've never just let it be. I've never just sat back while intentionally making things happen, but then just allowed for it to happen. What's fascinating to me is the difference between being aware of what's going on and acting on it. Because again, as someone who's very fiery, very impulsive, or always has been that way, and trying to go against my nature in that, it's not easy. Not easy at all. Because I'm actively trying to do the things that are not comfortable for me. I want to do something different. I want to do things that scare me. What scares me is not knowing if the floor is even going to be underneath me when I take a step. I've never just allowed myself to take a step and not know what direction that's going to go in. I've always needed to be like, is this right? Is this going to be a good investment? Is this going to, go somewhere? Am I making the right career move? Should I move to this city? It's always been very like in my head and very calculated, and I'm trying to do it completely different. I was in the park yesterday with a friend and I saw this guy holding a massive snake. For those who know me, know that I'm so scared of snakes. They really freak me out. I can't. I walked straight up to this man yesterday and I said, hi, I'm very scared of your snake right now, but I need to stand next to you because I need to conquer this fear, or I need to show myself that I can do things that make me uncomfortable and not freak out. I know some people do one thing that scares them every single day. I've never been that way. Now I'm trying to intentionally be that way and do something that just feels so backwards to my normal logical mind. And that was to walk directly up to this snake and stand next to it. Next thing you know, the snake is on me. And then I'm holding it. And you know what? I'm just going to post the video for you guys to see because that was something else. But being mindful of what is even a fear of ours and intentionally trying to adjust or redirect, I want to encourage you to really start to see the areas of your life that you have resistance to. Because where we resist is where we need to change the most. Now, I've lived in New York for 10 years. I've talked about this, but to make a point, it's comfortable for me to be here. I've been here. I have my friends. I have my community. I have my apartment. I have everything set up in its perfect little area. It's easy. What's the most uncomfortable thing for me to do? To move, to go to a place where I don't know many people, to be in a new city, to completely start fresh. That's terrifying. But I want to grow. I want to change and I want to evolve. So I'm going to do the thing that scares me the most. That's also career. I'm stepping into a whole new world. It's terrifying. The imposter syndrome comes up. All of these areas of why I'm not enough and why I shouldn't do this, all these old and limiting beliefs are coming to the surface. Why me? How come this? I'm getting the whole kitchen sink of stories and thoughts that my brain wants to tell me because it wants to stay small. Change isn't easy. Growing up is not easy. Adapting, flowing, and growing, no, these are not simple, easy tasks. Yeah, it's just growing pains are growing pains. They're real. I've made this analogy before, but the caterpillar turning into a butterfly, that chrysalis process, not comfortable. Have I gone through that? Not in a caterpillar way, but yes, in the Jojo human way, for sure. It's getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And I used to do that so much more when I was younger. It was so much easier to do that when I was younger. But now it's very hard because now I don't have control or fear of the unknown or all of these illusions and stories that we tell ourselves that keep us in the same place and keep us from evolving and growing. Because sure, I could stay in New York. I could live here. I could continue to work in fashion and have the fine life and do the whole marry a finance guy thing. Sounds like an okay life, but it doesn't sound like my life. That's not the life that I want. The life that I want is on the other side of evolving and changing and stepping out into a crazy unknown world that I have no idea what is on the other side of that. I have no clue. But to me, that sounds, while it's so scary, it's also the only option that I have. Because the alternative is I give up on the things that I truly want, truly value, which is constant evolution, which is constantly growing. So being aware of that is, first of all, the key. But to go back to really going against your nature and doing things that are just so wildly out of your comfort zone, that's what I want us to be very mindful of. So let's get messy with this mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Mentally, we've already addressed that, the mindfulness aspect of this, and being really clear on what it is that you are keeping yourself limited with and trying to overcome that by taking these steps, whether it's walking up to a guy in a park with a snake or mindfully sitting in silence or being aware of your own thoughts, or emotionally when all of these stories and thoughts and every silly possibility and the other shoe's going to drop moment is coming to your brain, sitting in that, and instead of reacting to it or doing something to control that outcome, just allowing it to pass and not hooking or tying your emotions to a thought or getting emotional from a thought. And just being like, okay, watching it kind of go by like an airplane. Well, there's another one. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at that one go by. And not attaching meaning to it or emotion to it. The mental and emotional acuity and just overall awareness of the things that we need to do in order to go against our nature is ultimately going to be that spiritual shift, that soul realignment, that soul recognition and recalibrating to actually being where and in what feels really good for us. What I've been loving to notice lately is who is showing up in my life, what I'm attracting, what people, what circumstances, what friendships, what any situation, what job, what anything. Just noticing what I'm calling in and attracting into my life has been fascinating. Because I'm noticing how so many people are leaving, just as many people are coming. And it's like a rebalancing of the scales of my own life of, okay, so these people that really did not fit, did not feel good, did not energetically vibe with me, that made me feel anxious, that whatever it is, they're leaving. And the people that are coming in or that are staying or that are deepening are seemingly very grounding for me and feeling like very aligned right now. No, that's just right now. Anything's possible. Anything can change. You know, we all have free will. We can always make a different decision and go in another direction. And that's also the beautiful part of all of this. But just that awareness of what is coming towards me has been really powerful and very eye-opening, because in that it's also allowing me to be like, what am I doing that's attracting this? How am I behaving that's calling this in? And the more that we can just really sit back and see it all, we're going to start to have a lot less chaos in our lives, a lot more peace. And I will say that even though these past few weeks and everything has just been so crazy, and so many changes and so many shifts, the real undercurrent of it all has felt very grounded, has felt very, all right, I can handle this, because I'm not rushing to change or manipulate or chase or do anything that would be self-betraying or otherwise. Overall alignment, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, career, relationships, where you live, who you're around, all of that is so, so important. And that's why I love having these different conversations with different people, and also pausing and letting you guys in on my process and letting you really see my mess. No pun intended. Thank you guys for getting messy with me this week. Take a moment, pause, think about 3 people you can send this episode to, and then go ahead and send it. Don't think too much. Just, they cross my mind, I'm going to do it. Take a step. Is the ground underneath me? Yes. Take another step. The ground's still there. Keep going. Just mindfully. Be very mindful. That's all I'm asking you to be this next week. Just be very aware. Literally take a moment and just notice, are you laying on a couch? Like, notice what the material is underneath you. Like, are you even conscious of that? Do you know how your body's holding tension right now? Just even these little minute details. The more that we can be aware consciously of our physical state, the more that we're conscious of everything else. Emotional, mental, spiritual. It's all aligned. It's all together. Well, with that, you guys know where to find me at _insideout.podcast. And I'll see you next week. Bye.